Sound. You're listening to Mad Sound Radio. And now, here's your host, Charlie John.
What's up, Joey?
Hi.
So you have
Hey,
your...
Charlie.
I'm just going to start with something that I know that, hopefully people know about. It's just about the showcase. The Queen City Showcase that you do on Mondays, right? It's tonight?
It's every Monday over at the Tin Roof. It's pretty cool. It's it is
Let's get into that, yeah.
it's interesting sometimes. There are nights that can get real interesting, but there are also nights where we've had some awesome
I know what you mean by
we've had some interesting. But there are some nights that are really awesome, and we've had a lot of really cool musicians like yourself. Charlie obviously has been on there, and we've had obviously Matt Waters has been on there a couple times, and we've had a couple really good bands. There was one band, man, I'm gonna find it. Can I do this? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh yeah.
Are you
okay.
looking up something?
Yeah. So I have the name of the band. It was these kids, these young dudes who were unreal.
Really?
Dylan Etienne Band. Dylan Etienne, Etienne. Maybe it's like Etienne. I don't know, but that sounds a little Francois. But yeah.
Okay. So how young are they? Like a new thing, or what's?
No, they're like early 20s.
Matt's had him on his podcast. Well, come on, Matt. You know what?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of Matt talk on this podcast, and I just want to say I love that dude. But slow down. He's making us look bad.
Calm down. He's making us all look bad.
Making us look bad. He's working.
No, he's a good dude. He was the one who recommended me over to him, and he's a young dude, and they were a trio. They were crazy good. They were, and really nice kids too. Very loud, but they were very good. They were cool.
Wow, I've never heard of this dude. Singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, producer, composer, arranger, based in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And he's a young guy, you said?
Younger, I don't know, relative to me. I'm 31.
I'm 32, man. All right.
Yeah. Well, we're fine.
Yeah.
We're all right.
I was there. I was at Tin Roof Cincy last Thursday, and I had one of those interesting nights myself.
How was it?
It was interesting.
Tell me what happened.
It was low. It was kind of just, it's Thursday night, whatever.
Yeah.
It was.
Were there any games or anything that ended, or was it just a night?
It was just a night, man. It was just a night, and
was it at least nice out? You'd be surprised how much. What people don't realize is the weather makes a huge impact on our job, and
totally.
Especially with the colder months. December is interesting because in December it's like people are they're itching to go out anyway because it's the holiday season and we're gonna go out and have a good time. There's family in town and all these different things, which is fine. But the second you hit January, it's January, February, March. Mm-hmm. Just getting into March, those are our dead months. That's the usual, and it sucks.
And if it's summer out and you're inside, it's kind of tough. I mean, I'm begging for the door to be open. You know what I mean? That's such a small thing for us independent artists.
No, but it's a huge. It makes a huge difference because in reality, if people can hear music from outside, I mean that's a thing that we've been doing, or I've been doing for years now, is I will call people out as they are walking by.
Funny. That's funny as hell.
There'll be times where I told you, man, I have stories for days.
Yeah.
There were times that we played in a bar in Lexington where I would put a speaker inside the bar where we were playing. They'd have a big door open, but then I'd put a speaker way outside. Yeah. And as people would be walking by, I'd be like, "Hey, you in the red shirt," and just kind of we're not the kind of guys the old school method of talking to your audience. We're there used to be a day where you would berate your audience. You would I can still remember bands back in the day making fun of people that are listening to them. I never got into that. I like to acknowledge people. I like to just have a good time, and so I'll be like, "Hey, you, my go-to joke is if you can hear the sound of my voice, this is your conscience speaking. You need more alcohol. You need, and then I try to draw them in and just try to kind of mess with them.
Did you find that easy? That came to you easily talking to people, or was it easier with having a band or by yourself? I always kind of been curious about this, depending on just straight solo.
I don't know if you went through it too, but everyone goes through the awkward phase.
Yeah.
Of being on stage and not knowing what to say. And I've been in bands. Yep. I've been playing music now. God, I started playing when I was like 11, 12, which isn't great because I should be much better.
Dude. Oh my God. Much better. That's so funny that you said that.
I should be much better, but it is what it is. But
there's no shows, by the way.
What's that?
There's no shoulds, by the way. That's the hardest thing to come. if you think like that, man, it's a spiral.
No, man, you got and see. We're artists, and we are our own biggest critics. Yeah. And the reality of it is we always try to just get better and do the next big thing, or not next big thing, but just we're always looking at the next Instagram video and trying to be like, how do I do that? How can I try that?
Internet moves so fast. It's hard not to do that shit.
Pain. It's a pain.
The faster it moves, the more painful it is.
To answer your original question,
right.
The whole like learning how to talk on stage thing, it is a process. I wouldn't say that I'm very good at it. I would say that I am moderately good at it, but I say, I am comfortable with talking to people on stage. I never like to toot my own horn in any kind of capacity because there's always some kid on Instagram who could blow you out of the water, and it's just
there's some entertainers.
I do my job.
There's some entertainers who are like, how do you do that shit? Like, even the in between stuff. Because I love obviously I love the playing and the songs and all that stuff. But the in between stuff, for a while, I was like writing stuff down. Like, what do I say when this happens? But
a lot of things is like it's becoming comfortable of being on stage, and it's really, what really helped me the most when. This is going to be awful. This is really, it's going to sound really self-deprecating, but it's not intended to be. I got really comfortable at talking on stage when I started to realize people don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, you're there to have a good time.
Dude.
They are there to have a good time. Yeah. If you put yourself in the space of listening to somebody at a show, you have to remember that everyone's there just to mess around. People are at a bar to get drunk and hang out with friends and whatever. Yeah. And it's different in like a live, like a venue setting, and like you're playing your original music, so you have to have this kind of an attitude to come off in this kind of artistic way, and that's a whole different beast in itself, and that's a completely different thing. But like when you're playing shows like what we do, it's a conversation, man. You're on stage just to mess around with people and have a good time.
It's in the moment, man. Like, it's like if you're looking at a bar, like especially like Tin Roof, like it's such a in the moment thing. Like, I was talking to 4 people in the crowd on Thursday.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and they were requesting songs, and again, kind of like what we do. Like, we play so many covers. I don't know about you, but that's pretty much all I do.
Yeah.
We're
in the middle right now writing, but.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. I do want to know about that for sure.
Yeah.
Because as a cover artist, you want to, after a certain amount of time, you'll just know a bunch of songs, right? You'll have all this ability to just be able to go, oh, you want this? I can do this. I can mash these songs up, make it sound cool and all that stuff.
Right.
As far as getting in the studio, right?
Yeah. How
much of a priority is that for you right now?
Right now, a very, very big priority, and it's actually not for our stuff at all. So have you met Jada yet?
I don't think so.
Jada is so much better than we are. It's
how many piece band you have now?
So the band as Ethan and Joey is anything between a solo acoustic artist up until an 8-piece band, like a party band. We have like a big corporate band. We have the big wedding band and event band and things like that. We're working. We're in talks about adding another guy. So we're talking about adding a 9th dude. Oh. We have one of our horn players. He is a trombone player, but he also jumps back and forth between that and trumpet. And we're kind of discussing just having a dedicated trumpet player just to round out that sound, because it's a it's a big Stevie Wonder thing where it's like, two horns are cool.
Yep.
Three horns is like the sound. Like that's the Michael Jackson. That's the,
bring up Matt Waters again. Fuck that guy. But like bring up his band is just, oh man, it's killer.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
We do the same thing. It's just, it's so to answer your question, currently 8 people. But going back to the whole studio recording thing. So Jada, dear friend of ours, she's incredibly talented. She's very new into this business, but not as much anymore because she's been playing with us for around a year at this point. Mm-hmm. And she has an unbelievable voice. And so we're working. She's got a lot of things cooking that we're not actually allowed to talk about. But she's got a lot of things cooking that could be very, very cool. Mm-hmm. And if it happens the way that they're talking about it's going to happen, it makes a lot of sense to have an album out for it.
Sure.
And so that's what we're working on right now. And then she's got a lot of stuff going on personally for her. And so she's got a lot of material. And so it's a matter of just sitting down and actually doing the thing, which it's like you say, being a cover artist is where do you find your priorities? Because at one point we're trying to pay the bills, and at another you're trying to feed yourself a little bit by writing the original music.
And you always want to invest in that original music, right? So you want to, and getting those gigs too. Obviously, getting the original music gigs is so fun, but there's not a lot of money attached to those, hardly.
Almost never. And I mean, we have a lot of buddies who are in a lot of bands. Like we cycle out. I don't know. We have a rotation of like 10 drummers that we work with right now. And a couple of them are in those original bands, and they'll be unavailable for X amount of weeks at a time because they'll go out and tour on their original stuff. And one of our buddies, have you heard of, I'm going to pronounce their name wrong. They're really good dudes. It's technically pronounced Mozant, like French, but everybody says Mozant. It's Mossant.
Okay.
Our buddy Nathan, who's one of our drummers, is in the band. They're actually releasing an album here. Hold on. Where is he at? Chandler Hofert. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he's the bass player and singer. They're releasing an album on May 3rd. Okay. And they're awesome.
How do you spell
What's that? Mossant.
Cool. Oh, okay, cool. High energy.
They're really good dudes. But Chandler, Nathan is one of our dudes that we use for a ton of gigs, and dude's a badass. He's a great player.
Yeah.
And
so here's like if you're good, right? You're busy all the time. So if you're like, say if you that drum that I've been up and down on bands as far as wanting one, not wanting one for years and years and years, and it comes back to financial stuff, obviously, but there's ways to make it happen, right? And then getting the people you want is also really hard because they're busy because they're good.
Very true. And oh man, I know it's like the 4th time we've talked about Matt, but we share a drummer, and is my buddy Nick. He is disgustingly good.
I've seen him live a couple times.
Like disgustingly good, and he's so much fun to play with. And I try to throw him as many gigs as I can, but sometimes it's that's why we have a rotation of like 10 guys.
Right.
Is because we have so many dudes who are so good. Another one of our buddies, you know who David Parks is?
No, I don't think so.
Parks is a badass.
Okay.
Parks, he is currently on tour. He's been on tour for like the last year or two. You know who? It's the Bellamy Brothers.
Yeah.
It's the big country hit in like the 80s or 90s or whatever.
Yeah.
He's been touring with them. He's gone to like Sweden and Norway, and he'll be out in like California and Texas and all these different places like every other week. And I just see his Facebook posts, and they crack me up because not only is he a great dude and a great player, but he's just funny as hell.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like one of those things. So like I hear you. If I were you, I would definitely go the way of trying to get a band and doing the band thing because. It's fun.
Dude, I have it. It's obviously in my head. I'm putting together a one-man show right now. For sure. One-man live loop show pull off all the songs I want to pull off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then for going back to us as cover artists, that's our business, right? That's our day job, quote unquote day job. You know, we get to do music full time, which is awesome.
No, that's exactly right. It's exactly right.
But I also want to go back to the corporate and wedding stuff that you guys do. How often is that happening? And is it fun? Is it cool? Like, is it working?
I love it.
Yeah.
I like every part of our job. I know a lot of people will kind of dog on like, oh, you're playing cover shows, oh, you're, whatever. For me, man, I am playing music every day on my terms. I'm booking gigs. I love what I do. And it's just a matter of, my biggest thing, because obviously I just got married. Our biggest conversation now is what's the next thing, because we're pretty good at finding a goal, getting to that point, feeling great about it, getting used to it, and then what is the next big thing. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. What's the next big thing, while also sustaining the ability for my wife and I to buy a house soon, to do all, like do all the things that we got to, because man, this studio is cool. I know this podcast is only audio today, but my space is neat.
Oh, it's cool.
I want a basement so damn bad, Charlie, you don't understand. I'm so tired of not having I want a basement studio that I can have all this shit in.
Man. Yeah.
I can, because other people have studios where it's like, all of their stuff is dedicated lines. You have everything like set and ready to go, taped down. Drums are mic'd up. Guitar amps are mic'd up. You have bass lines and bass rigs. Your computer is good. Like you have a speaker system. Everything sounds incredible, to the point where you could walk into your basement, spark an idea, record a song, and have it written and be done. I mean, I don't know. Is that the way your studio is set up?
That's the way I am. I don't work as much live instrument, except for guitar, piano, bass. Well, bass. Sure. I want a bass so bad. But, but as far as the in the box stuff, it's so good now. Like, the learning curve is so much smaller. It's crazy. Like I can do a lot.
Brother, I'm not kidding. You could go on to guitar or onto Facebook Market and pick up a basic bass guitar and be fine.
Yeah.
Because this is exactly. I have this thing. It is a piece of shit. Like it is trash.
That's what I'm saying.
And I record with it all the time because it does exactly what I need it to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm in the box, man. It all depends on what you want out of your sound. You know what I mean? Like it all depends on what you want, what you can get.
True.
And if I can get an equally or better sound in the box for a bass, then I'm going to do that. And it just it all depends. I hear what you're saying about the basement studio. What I want right now is I won't be able to afford it for a while, is a separate studio recording. Like I want a studio. Like I want to be able to wake up and go
like a place there. Like somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think it's just because I haven't had one, and I just haven't ever had one. I think I just kind of want one, And
there was a buddy of mine.
Yeah. Anyway,
there was a dude. You're obviously recording. You're doing sessions. I saw that you're doing the producing. Yeah, really cool. Yeah. What's the deal on that? You say it wasn't like 150.
150 a song right now. It's going to go up in a month. It's about 250 a song, and then I'm working on my portfolio for others right now. I'm trying to collaborate with other people, but
how's the business there going? Is it pretty good?
Yeah, it's working. This industry is very slow. Like it can take its time. Everyone's in a different position. So I'm kind of like, as people are, messaging me and all that stuff, which is good. So
dude, that's awesome.
Anyway, you were saying about something and I interrupted.
No, you're right. The home studio thing, it's something that I've worked in studios before. I've worked for a lot of different places, and I think for me, I'm trained audio engineer. I know my way around all this stuff, and for me, it's hard for me to like go to someone else's studio and record, because it's not. It's that same thing of I don't think I am better than anybody. I think I do my job as well as I can do it, right?
Yeah.
But I also know that when I'm in a studio setting and I'm trying to like record something, I'm popping off on different cylinders than what my audio engineer is doing. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh, hell, I can do this. Because it's ADHD is kicking in. And I'm like, I could do this. And here's this seventh and here's this chord. And I can try this and this. And they're still on the first thing, just trying to get the first sound. And I'm like, dude, I've already done it. Yeah. I've done it. I've moved on. Like, we're moving.
That could be a tough thing. I'm telling you.
Legitimately, I'm sitting here. I don't know if you do this. If on like a slow day, on like an off day or whatever, I'll sit in here. Within the last week, I will come up here. I have 31 songs or song ideas that I've just jumped in and just started writing and messing around with. Yeah. And it's like, a lot of them are trash, like they're shit, but it's the same thing of like, if I sit here, I can come up with like a quick melody, and then I can go, cool, here's drums, here's guitar, here's this, and this is a vocal line. Here's what I can do with keys. Here's this idea. And then I can send it out to the band and be like, this is the concept. This is the idea that I had. If I had the ability to do that in a basement where I also had a couch for my PlayStation, hell yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's all I want, man. That's all I want.
Musician man cave. Dude, totally. That's what I want. I want people to be able to come over and hang out and you make music. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
I remember what I was going to say. Do you know a dude by the name of Chris Schmidt?
Yeah, I don't know him in person.
Chris was the house engineer for the Mad Frog for like ever. Okay. Like since this year's gonna be off, but I'm confident like the late 80s on up until they demolished it. Yep. Chris is a badass dude. He's such a nice dude. And I was in a band like years and years ago. It was a punk band. And we recorded with Chris. He and his buddy at the time had a lease on a church in the, like, you know where the viaduct is? Yeah. Like just outside of Clifton. Okay. He had a church that he had a lease on with this other dude that's where he put his studio, was in this like abandoned old church or whatever. Yeah. And it sounded unreal because it was just this big open, like they took everything out. Technically it was not a church anymore, but he had his control room in this separate room, and then all of his stuff was run out into the live room where it was just the whole church. And yeah, man, the drum sound in that room sounded insane because it was like nothing but that's amazing. It was awesome. So when you say like you want your own space, Charlie, let's just rent a church out together. Okay. Let's just cool. Do it.
I mean, I
just be wild and crazy guys.
That's all it takes, right? So right now, again, like we're both doing it full time. I mean, so your idea of making it is happening, right? As far as in music,
success is subjective for everybody. And for me, my version of success is being able to be self-sufficient while playing music and achieving the goals that you want to achieve. And so I got married.
Yeah, there you go.
Check that off the box. I did it all while owning my own music business. Check it off the box. Yeah. Now it's like, I want to buy a house and, within the next few years, potentially start a family if that's what my wife wants to do. And it's just a matter of just taking steps at a time. And that's why like my thing right now is I want to write an album for Jada because I want to get her version of success or awesome. Ethan's version of success. Yeah. And I want to just do the thing. Like I have, and I've always said this, I have little to no desire to be famous. I do not give a shit. I don't care. I want to be, if I wanted any form or version of fame, you know who Jason Isbell is? Yeah. Okay. Love him. That level of famous. Yeah. Totally. And it's not even famous. No. It's just, he's a killer songwriter that is well known. Yeah. Done. In the industry. All I need.
Yeah, for sure.
The life of what Taylor Swift goes through sounds like hell. Yeah. That sounds awful.
It does. It really does, man. I mean, it's and as far as going back to the business thing, do you look at yourself as someone who is good at it or likes doing it, is good at it? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I should have paid more attention early on to that kind of stuff because it is a business, right? It's
As far as like the business aspect of it, like, am I good at the business aspect?
Keeping clients, like, I don't know, because I look at you and your schedule and I'm like, oh, this dude is killing it. He's playing 6 days a week, 7 days a week. You know what I mean?
My thing, man, is I said, we were texting before. I have a lot of experience in the music industry, and a lot of that experience was not awesome.
Yep.
And I learned from my mistakes, and I learned from a lot of people what not to do, so I knew what I wanted to do. Sure. And I think that's the biggest way. And for me, business wise, I am, how do I put this the right way?
Super hot.
Yeah, brother.
I knew it.
I take after you, man. I take after you, brother. God, I'm trying my best to look like Charlie.
I know, right? Everyone is.
For the whole business aspect of it, I don't think I'm great at the business aspect. I think I'm good at dealing with people, because that's what business is. Business is just communication and conversation. And my dad he was 1/7 of an owner of a specific company in Cincinnati, and he and I will kind of bounce ideas back and forth, and it's more or less just me ranting and be like, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and Dad's like, dude, tear it up.
I love that.
That sounds pretty good, but it's never really like I try to emulate, or I didn't take any business classes. My wife and I've talked about going back to community college and try to get an actual MBA or like a business degree and know what I'm doing and talking about.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like we're already doing it.
Sure.
You know?
If you feel like that, that's great. Again, it's different for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever you are doing, whatever your focus is right now in music, I learned a long time ago, and I've done my 10,000 hours, man, of gigs. You playing dive bars, you playing all that stuff. You play them all, and you learn a lot about yourself, what you're willing to do as a musician, and all that stuff, and what you want to do. And
True.
I'm just not the guy who's going to do 6 days a week, and maybe that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so a couple of years ago, after COVID, honestly, I took myself and I put it into private events and weddings, pretty much exclusively. You know what I mean? And I still do a lot of that stuff, but I'm trying to get back into the club,
just a normal stream,
club stream. You know what I mean? And
I get that. But for me, man, it's a volatile market either way that you look at it. Mm-hmm. And honestly, for the longest time, a big thing for me is, I don't know, as far as like business speak goes, we're very good. I'm very, I will say this.
Yeah.
I'm very good at keeping my head down and doing my job. Like that's my big thing.
So important.
Yeah. And that, I don't like to ruffle feathers. I always do what I can to go above and beyond for any client that I have. I always try and make sure that I always tell people my job is to make sure that you're happy. Mm-hmm. And that's what I do. That's my goal is to make sure that you guys are having a good time. And if you're having a good time, I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
And if I get paid at the end of the day, sweet. But that's the biggest thing. And
yeah. Totally.
That's where those corporate thing comes from, or the wedding things, and I mean, we tear up weddings. We have a lot of fun.
Man, I'll tell you, weddings. Don't let people tell you otherwise. Weddings are fun as hell.
Yeah, dude.
They are some of the best gigs I think I've ever played. I've never had a terrible client at a wedding. I don't know.
Yeah. I have a story.
Do it. Do it right now. Go for it. I love it.
Hold on. I have to think about how I want to navigate this.
Is it a wedding? Because I want to hear it. Okay. Yeah. I also get that too.
Well, hold on. I have to. I'm trying to navigate this the best way that I can.
All right. I can bleep names. All that. You don't have to say it.
I won't do it. I'll do it this way. Okay. I'll navigate. So it was not a wedding that I played.
Okay.
Okay. People that I know, we'll say it like that.
Yeah, love it.
People that I know played a wedding for a client who the bride and groom were pretty difficult to work with. Mm-hmm. It was pretty tough. And there was they brought in this DJ. and this DJ was like really like apparently like well known. I will say nobody in Cincinnati. They were not from Cincinnati whatsoever.
Okay.
Let's
call him DJ Khaled.
It was definitely not DJ Khaled. You're going to get sued.
You know what? I'll take the pub.
You know what? There's no such thing as bad publicity, baby.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway.
So, very long story short, the bride and groom were very hard to work with, and the people that were playing the wedding that I knew were they were doing the thing that we all do is you keep your head down, you do your job, you show up, you do what you're contracted to do, or you do whatever you got to do to make everybody happy. Well, the bride and groom were not happy like from the get-go. They were really like, it has to be this specific version of the song, and if it's not this specific version of the song, we don't want to play it. But we also don't want to play it. We don't want you to like play the recording. We want you to play the song. You have to play it.
Oh, okay.
And it went so far as to the people that I know sent a recording of them doing the song, and the bride was like, "Where is the string quartet? Or where are the strings in this?" And they were like, "You hired the two of us. What are you talking about?
Right?
Like, what do you mean?
Wow.
Where's the orchestra?"
Yeah.
And it got really weird. So the reason I bring up the story, during the wedding, the DJ who you know what? I can talk about this guy. It was this dude from, I think like Nigeria or from Africa. It was like this big, like a big deal DJ.
Okay.
They forked out a ton of money for this guy.
Okay.
At the wedding, the bride and groom came in and they did their first dance and they sat down, and the DJ, as we do, they start emceeing the wedding, saying, "Hey, everybody's so excited you're here. Let's give them some noise for blah, 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 union, blah, blah, blah." He starts ranting about himself specifically, saying, "Man, I just got over this alcohol addiction, and it's really great that you all are here," and like talking about himself. Did it for, honest to God, like 20 minutes.
What?
And kept talking about himself. And the bride and groom were getting so pissed off that they almost walked up and like unplugged all of his stuff. He was like, he goes, "Yeah, I just got over this alcohol addiction. You can clap. You all can clap. It's okay."
Oh my God.
And everyone was like,
"What the hell?
Oh my God." It was wild. The story is crazy.
So the dude, he's not a guy like that we would know, or like,
no, God, no.
Okay,
No. Every DJ that we know, everyone, legitimately, this dude is not from this country.
Okay.
And he was, apparently, it was like a really big dude. No shade on him, but that is not what you want to do in a wedding setting.
And the people you know were playing in the wedding, like music?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
The people that I know, I'll tell you when we're off when it's not being recorded. I'll tell you the whole
this
details.
Is awesome. I love it.
But yeah, the people that I know were playing in the wedding, and they were the ones who were like, they were recording the song, and they were like, "Where are the strings?" It's like, "What do you mean, where are the strings?" And
how did that go? Like the rest of the wedding was okay. I mean,
they did. Well, no,
okay.
no.
Well, right.
The rest of the wedding was really weird because the guests were treating the event like it was their event.
Yeah.
And like, while the bride and groom are doing their first dance, they would like, people would be holding up their phones, like taking selfies and like taking videos and be like, "Hey, we're out here, whatever, blah, 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 blah."
Yeah.
And like during their first dance, and apparently the bride was livid, like irate, which makes sense. I mean, rightfully so.
Sure.
Because I mean, man, it's like you don't wear white to someone else's wedding.
Yeah.
You know, those are some big no-nos that you would think there's common sense, but common sense isn't very common sometimes.
You know what? I have one of those. Let's go. So it's not directly on the bride and groom, right? The bride and groom in the end were amazing. We're so awesome.
Remember, you're recording a podcast.
That's fine. I'm not going to say any names. Steve and Cheryl. No. So
I hope you have a wedding client named Steve and Cheryl, and they're like, "What the hell?"
They were like literally every bride. I think unless I'm blocking something out, and I've done a lot of weddings, Also, a lot of times with weddings, you don't hear from them because I'm also very cagey about, should I send a follow-up? Are they on their honeymoon? Do they not want to deal with my follow-up? Because a lot of sometimes I want to review on a website, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So basically my bar is if they don't talk to me throughout the wedding, it's their day, do their thing. They don't need to talk to me. That's fine. That's perfect. That's exactly how it should go. We've all discussed all the songs. I gave them a questionnaire, blah, blah, blah. It's all set up. So this other wedding that we'll talk about is, again, the bride and groom at the end were amazing. So I offer in my services, I'll play guitar, sing, and then I will DJ your ceremony after that. So I combo everything, whole thing. DJ, I still put in quotes. I'm very insecure. I'm not the guy up there mixing and mastering.
Sure.
So I'm still very insecure about that part of
it. Hey, man, DJ Spotify does. We do it too, man.
But yeah, we work with them on their playlist, all that stuff. They want I MC the thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So I have a huge giant setup. Get up there, do the ceremony, play the song. They're kind of the reception. The timelines have never matched up at any single wedding I've ever played. They're always late. These guys,
every wedding we ever played too. Yeah, it's not just you.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. But it's like these guys were like 20 minutes early. Like they were early on everything. Like the ceremony was early. Like the guests were supposed to be still filing in.
But they started before.
No. They were all there. But they just were like, so.
I thought they just jumped the gun and started the wedding early. We got 20 people here. Who cares?
But and they like hired a violin player, and so me and her were kind of like, what? So usually I'm coordinating with like the photographer or like the wedding coordinator. So we get through the ceremony, everything's great. I sing the thing. We get to the cocktail hour. Cocktail hour is great. And then I say blah blah blah. Here's the bride and groom. Now the dance floor is officially open. I do We Are Family, whatever blah blah. Yeah, next song is September. Another classic one to get the dancers, old folks, older and younger folks, a lot of folks on the dance floor.
Yeah, people dance to that one.
And during this song, a young woman comes up to me, probably 20-25, and she's holding a drink, and I don't know if she might be drunk already. I don't know. But she goes, "Hey, I'm the bride's daughter, and I was just like in the back with her, and she says you're doing a really terrible job, and you need to like work on your music selection, and you need to pick up like better, you need to pick better, more upbeat like music and all that stuff." And I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm freaking out. And then I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what kind of music? She's like, well, it can be like classic, and like just make sure it's like upbeat and like everything. I'm like literally September is playing. I'm like, you mean like this song right here that's playing right now?
Yeah.
And she
like, what do you mean?
Yeah. And she's like, I don't know, just like I just been hearing things like throughout the cocktail hour that like you're not very good, and like you just don't have that music, and just
oh god,
it's not danceable. I'm like, it's not supposed to be danceable during the cocktail hour. So then, long story short, end of the reception, they both come up to me and tell me I did awesome, and that I did really well and all that stuff. So
yeah.
But the whole time I am freaking out about my playlist.
Flipping out like, holy shit.
Like, I'm watching the bride walk around the room like I'm thinking in my head,
hawk.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, she's talking shit to that person about me. But no, the whole time.
Every time they look at you,
every time they like gesture and also they're like dancing between songs, and sometimes it's not the vibe and sometimes it is the vibe, But I followed their instructions. They, but they were really nice at the end. They both came up to me separately and were like, we want to tip you, or like, how can we tip you, and all that stuff. And really, really cool. And now I'm just thinking that girl was like fucking with me. Like, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Or she's drunk.
No, I mean, people get kind of shitty when they're drunk sometimes. But
and if you're listening to this, first of all, and you know who you are, like if you can identify yourself from that story, I want to know. Just write to me.
Kick rocks.
Also, that's fine if you're the only person. If you know who you are, you know who you are.
I feel like that was that person who was like trying to get you to change up to what they wanted. Man, first thing I would have done in that instance, and I would have immediately turned around and find the bride and groom and be like, hey, is everything good? Do you are you cool with everything going on right now? If you want to change anything, you need to let me know right now.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like they had given you their playlist
exactly,
anyway.
right? Which is what I was playing, right? Which is what what they, and they weren't the type to give me an exact playlist. They just gave me like a, whatever they wanted, like genre wise kind of thing, which is cool. But
which is fine. I don't know, man.
It's a weird thing because it's such an important day for them.
You don't want to mess. You don't want to be the reason why something. Every wedding has a story.
Yeah.
Like people don't realize that every wedding has you have such high expectations. You have such it's a joyous day, or at least it's intended to be a joyous day, and everything's supposed to be going perfect. When you're in that mentality, if you stub your toe, you're gonna be like, I stubbed my toe that day. And like, that is the one thing that you kind of go back to is your thing. You don't want to be the thing that people go back to like, this sucked,
No. Yeah, no, it's just a bunch of what ifs after that. But so anyway, it had a happy ending, and not a literal happy ending. That'd be weird.
Well, yeah.
But, I
would have found that girl or person or whatever and been like, hey.
And again, what the hell? The only person who would know if the specifics of this wedding is the person, is this person who told me this shit. And again, and she just, anyway, I wasn't sure if it was just like a millennial thing. You just fucking with me to see what I'll do.
Well, it's the same thing as like, you're familiar with Brad Martin, right?
Yeah.
Audio Graffiti, Shot 30 and all them.
Yeah.
He made a post like a year or so ago, and it went like semi-viral in Cincinnati, where he had like 500 comments and 800,000 likes, 2,000 likes, or whatever. And it was like, if you're one of the people that like take your phone and put it on your forehead at a gig to like request a song, he's like F you and all this stuff, and it like blew up. Because a ton of people were like, what do you mean? It's a good way. And all the musicians on there were like, no, kiss my ass.
Yeah.
First of all, if you want a song, it's colloquially known. That is a horrible way to say that, but it was commonly known. It's normal to tip a band. And that's not to say like, hey, you have to give this person money, but it's common courtesy to be like, hey, I'd like to hear Wagon Wheel. Here's 5, 10, 20 bucks.
That's one of those in the, especially if it's that song category.
Oh yeah,
it's
definitely.
Fucking Wonderwall, Wagon Wheel. This is like Brown Eyed Girl.
I don't do Wonderwall unless I'm playing. I'll jump. I'll do Wonderwall. To be honest with you, I'll do any of the songs. I have no songs that like dig into my skin, but if I'm gonna do it, I'm going to do it my way or like a way that makes me laugh. So if we do Wonderwall, I always throw in Boulevard of Broken Dreams in the middle of it.
That's cool.
That one's a lot of fun. And people get hyped. And I've always wanted to work up the band to like let me start Wonderwall, let me get into it. And then as I get into Green Day, because there is... Have you listened to the Bullet in the Bible version of that show?
I think so.
So back in 2000, I would have been in 7th or 8th grade. So I'm going to say anywhere between 2006 to 2008. Green Day did a show in London, and they were riding the wave of American Idiot, and they did the entirety of American Idiot in London, and they come out, and every like 5 minutes Billy Joe Armstrong is England, and people lose their shit. It's great. But what they do at the end of Boulevard of Broken Dreams is the ending of the song goes dun 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 dun. What they're doing during that part is going dun bah, dun dun firework dun flames everywhere, and it's this huge, really cool ending. And I'm always like, man, every time I play that song, I wish I could do that. Not with the pyrotechnics, but that kind of an ending of the song where it's this real big bang, gang, gang, gang. You started out on Wonderwall. You end on Green Day. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
I completely jumped off of what we were talking about before, but that
shitty gigs in general, and then songs that people want to hear.
Yeah, dude. It's
Sweet Caroline.
I don't know. For me, we like Ethan hates playing Freebird. I don't care. I've never. It's never bothered me that much. Maybe it's because I'm doing the solo that for me it's fun.
Yeah.
But I get that everyone else hates it. It's just I'm not one of the people that gets hung up on stereotype songs.
No.
I don't care. I'll play Wagon Wheel. You give me $10. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'll do again. And you don't even need the tipping thing is just an accepted, socially accepted kind of thing. It's right. The right thing to do. I mean, whatever, but I'll still do the song.
I got back on track. I remember we were talking about Brad Martin in his post about the phone thing.
Yes.
And we've had people do that before. And I will say it's like a little bit of a pinprick. It is a little annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. If people are having a good time, I don't care. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it 5 times in a row, you should compensate me a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't be shitty about it. And we've had people at gigs where I've had people they'll stand here with their phone like this, or they'll put it on the back of their head while they're having a conversation, or and they're not even looking at it. It's go kiss my ass.
Do you know the kind of disrespect that?
Yeah,
I just feel like that's people. They should know that's not how you do that. I don't know.
I told you, man. Common sense isn't common.
Whatever, man. Anyway, we're about done, man. This is awesome.
Cool.
I need to ask.
I told you, man. We can talk.
I know we can talk
funny stories all day.
Yeah, because we've both been doing it for. I've only, you've been doing it since what? You were 11, 12, you said?
I've been playing music since I was 11 or 12. I got signed to a label when I was 17, 18. That was a train wreck. That died out.
Small label, mid-level?
Small. It wasn't anything great. It was okay, if you're defining small as the guy on the road behind me has his own studio label, that's small.
I guess small. I don't know. In my head, I think
they sent us on a national tour.
Oh, okay.
So we'll call it mid-level. We'll
I get, yeah.
Small plus is what we call it. It was
in between small and
mid. The contact they had a lot of contacts in Nashville, and we got to meet a lot of really cool people and some pretty cool things. But overall, for me personally, and it was just my experience, it was not an awesome time. And so that was one of the experiences that I was telling you about. Is when that was done, that was how I kind of learned how to do business for myself.
Yeah.
And that's why I own and operate and run Ethan and Joey. I do all the bookings and emails, phone calls, and do all the stuff, is because I saw how we were treated, how things went. Not everything down there was bad.
Yeah.
I will say that. Not everything down there was bad. We were given a lot of opportunities. But it showed me how I wanted to do business myself. Mm-hmm. And it took years and years of
figuring out.
Oh my God, this has got to be 11 years ago that it was bad, man. It was really bad, and it taught me how I wanted to do business for myself and how I like to treat people, and how,
and you get to keep all the money.
Better. What's that?
You get to keep all the money.
I don't. I mean, I pay my guys well.
No, I mean, it's as opposed to keep letting a label.
I pay my son. No, it's more on the lines of I don't know. I know how I wanted to be treated, and how I wanted to treat other people in those regards.
And now labels are I believe, thing of the past. I don't know.
Just about, yeah.
If you're specifically thinking about Universal and TikTok and all that stuff that's happening right now, I've never had a label, and I believe it's because my parents, they were on a label. They were they weren't a band for 10 years and almost signed to Motown, had a shitty experience with that. And they said the Motown literally told them they were too mixed. They didn't know.
Oh, really?
This was the 80s. This was 80.
Which is stupid.
Considering what happened after that. But then,
Yeah, it sounds like they really, really dropped the ball.
Yeah. They were like had tapes to Berry Gordy and all that stuff anyway. But
yeah,
so I've had a lot of that, like experienced people kind of telling me the way the business is going, you don't need a label. Don't need it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Do your own thing.
Dude, I mean, TikTok is your label now. The only thing a label really did is they were the cash cow for, well, I'll put it this way. The only thing a label really does for a band is they are the cash cow for getting into a studio. Mm-hmm. They are the vehicle for getting your foot into the door to talk to people. And they facilitate a lot of different opportunities. When in reality, everybody can just do it themselves.
Yeah.
You could really just, especially now, so you have TikTok. There are teenagers who will make more money than you and I ever will combined because they did some stupid thing on TikTok and now they have a Arby's deal.
Yeah.
You know, like it happens. And the reality of it is it's just a matter of doing it yourself. Now, are there labels that are cool and people that'll help you out and do things for you and kind of facilitate those things? 100%. If that's your path, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But
also in that world of those people trying to reach out to you and help you are cool people who are trying to do that. People are also trying to scam you. Thousands of snakes. And so
and we dealt with a lot of snakes and a lot of snaky people and it's an unfortunate reality of the business. But I think while I have a lot of opinions on what social media has done to music and what social media, specifically TikTok, is doing to popular music. You want my opinion? I think it's destroying popular music. I think it is changing and obliterating what. Now, is that my old guy opinion? Yeah, but that's only an old guy opinion based on years of experience of what's going on. And I know you're trying to be done. I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
Get a long
ahead.
podcast.
Totally, go for it.
My opinion is this: short form media does nothing beneficial to a music career.
Yeah.
Because a music career is not short form media. The reason that Taylor Swift has blown up and is doing what she's doing now is because she had already established a music career beforehand and then lended herself into short form media. And the issue with that is can you name me, let's say, 3 to 5 artists that you found on TikTok that you still listen to today?
I'm going to go ahead and say a total of 0.
Right. But you've seen thousands of guitar players or thousands of singers or people that are doing crazy things that by the end of the week you have forgotten about because short form media is so fast and trends change so quickly that you can't keep up with it. And then all of a sudden the guy who was doing some crazy run, it's just you're inundated.
The longevity is an interesting thing, right? I know a guy who this is happening to right now, and I will talk to you off mic about if you know this person. He had a song blow up, 60 million streams on Spotify now. He is on tour, all that stuff. But do you think of, when you ask me to name artists, I think of the songs. I don't think of the artist, Right. And I don't even listen to those songs anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's interesting.
Another good example is in those songs, like even if it is a catchy song, there's 2 examples of it. You either get a really catchy song that sounds really good, but the best part of the song is the only thing that they show on the TikTok or the video. And then you get the Willow Smith thing where caught a vibe. Well, you saw what happened to her though, right?
I don't think so.
Played a show, was either in Chicago or LA or somewhere, obviously somewhere big. She had a 30 to 45 minute set. And there's a video of it. The entire crowd, stagnant, completely still, the entire show, just...
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
It got to that song at the very end. At that one spot of the song, people lost their minds. People were like, yeah, and like singing and like that because they didn't know anything other than that 40-second blurb of a song.
That's sad.
So the rest of her songs don't sound anything like that. Right. And so people are like, what is this? What's going on? And that's why her career went, The other example.
Very sad.
And this is the thing, and I will land on this hill, and if this is someone's favorite song, then I am sorry. Have you heard the TikTok song that's going on, the Ice Spice song? You ain't the shit.
Oh, probably. I can't.
And it's like, bitch, you ain't the shit. You're not even the fart. Go.
No.
I can't do that, man. It sounds like such a joke. It sounds like such a stupid thing, but that girl now sits next to Taylor Swift at football games at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And so that I understand the necessity of short form media and TikTok and things like that. I'm not an old dude. I get it, but it does worry me a little bit, because I like all the bands that I listened to recently are bands that I found on my own accord that I'm just like, these people are sweet.
Totally.
Yeah. And it's never been through TikTok. Like there's a band that I love. Have you heard Lake Street Dive?
Yeah, love them.
They're awesome.
Loved them forever. Yeah, they're so great.
Yeah, they're great. And I found them before I found them on social media, and after I found them on social media, I was like, haha, that's kind of funny. Had I found them through social media alone, never would have listened to them. Guaranteed.
Interesting.
And
I agree. Yeah.
So it's
what a weird
and
thing.
that's just
and TikTok it is a lot of the music industry now, and they didn't mean for that to happen, right? The people
God no.
And it's funny, like, we're just gonna let it happen then? Or is that cool?
There's nothing you can do. That train has already left the station.
I know there's nothing to do, but like, what's next? We just keep grinding, you know what I mean? Like,
it's the same thing that people always said about like Facebook, or it started with MySpace, or this was the thing.
Friendster.
Well, then what's next? What'd you say?
Friendster.
Friendster, hell yeah. This is MySpace. This is the end all be all of social media. And then all of a sudden, here's Facebook. And then at the end of Facebook, it was, well, what next? Well, now there's Instagram. Well, what's better than Instagram? Well, now there's TikTok. And now, and after TikTok, what is going to be the next big thing? And it's a thing that my wife and I kind of joke about and talk about a lot, because she gets a lot of business through Instagram and she gets a lot of things. Well, there's this new thing that Instagram is trying to push. And I cannot remember what it's called, but it's like their next app that is supposed to be like the Twitter killer or whatever. Threads. Yeah. I'm not going to do it. Can't do it. Don't give a shit.
Never going to.
No. Never gonna sign up. And she's like, I can't do it. And she downloaded it just to look at it, and it instantly syncs all of your shit together in like one space. And it's like, what's the point of doing? Like, why? It's just dumb, man. I get it. It's just, I don't know.
To me, okay, so to me, I think what has happened, like, TikTok got so big that now all the other apps are trying to like do Reels, and Facebook short, and YouTube Shorts is now becoming.
Well, you make too much money on a thing, everyone's gonna try to emulate it.
Quick and fast paced, and like, we got to slow down, man. We got to slow shit down.
Like, I don't know, man. It's interesting, and again, these are my old guy opinions, but
it's all right.
That being said, I had to stop sitting on Reels and TikTok. I had to delete TikTok because I would sit there for hours and just lose hours. And I'd look up and be like, holy shit, it's 3:00. And, dangerous. Like, and I started watching them at like breakfast time. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then it's awful. And I don't know. I can't be chronically online. And I say that while actively using a phone or like actively whatever. And
us as artists and band, we got to put.
We have
to have it and put ourselves out there somehow.
Yeah. There was it was one post that I saw that I actually really really liked, and it resonated. It was talk about and support your friend's band as much as you talk and support the national acts that you go see.
Yeah.
And it's like people will nonstop talk about Taylor Swift or a rapper or a country artist or whatever. If everyone that we knew, if people in the city gave that much of a shit about a Charlie John or a Matt Waters or a Mozant or whatever, if they cared as much as they do about that kind of an act and talked about them as consistently or posted and shared their stuff or did their stuff as much as, well, then they'd all be the next big whatever because people gave a shit and they cared. And that's actually a big issue. And that's why, damn, you want to talk about full circle, baby? Let's go. That's why, like, the whole Queen City Showcase thing is pretty cool.
Yes.
Because you like that?
Did it.
Like
that was beautiful.
We did it, man. Full circle. That's why that show is neat and it's growing and the format is kind of doing what now. I'm hoping that with the weather being a lot nicer, that a lot more people will start coming out because obviously it was slow during the winter and that's just the reality of it. But as the weather gets nicer, my goal is to make the night feel like one of those Nashville nights where like those writers in the round things. Like you go there on a Monday night to see artists who are writing their own original music.
The Bluebird stuff, kind of like
dude. Have you played there?
Oh yeah, I got it. Like they were doing some kind of like a lottery thing when I first went there, and this was years and years ago. They were like, "Hey, put your name in," and I fucking got up there, nervous as shit, played my song at 4 times the speed that it should have been, and then just anyway, I didn't have the experience that I have now, but yeah, I did it once.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. You got your shot back then, and
I never got down there to do it. Ethan did it. Yeah. They had him because they do like 2 songs, right?
Yeah,
and they asked him to play like an extra 2 songs, and he says that they liked it and they wanted him to play more, but maybe his songs were just short.
I don't know. I don't know what they are doing now, but like if you live down there, then you can apply to do like the monthly or showcase or whatever, you know what I mean? But you have to live closer to,
which is cool, man. Yeah. And obviously that is extremely wishful thinking. I want to get it to a point where Cincinnati has that kind of music following, because that's something that I've seen. There is not a huge. There's obviously a lot of places for venues. Mm-hmm. There's obviously like Bogarts, and you have Andrew J. Brady and Ovation and all these places where you can see concerts. But there's a difference between being a city that likes to go to concerts and supports national acts and a music city that goes out and sees music for what it is.
Yeah.
On another weekend, you know?
Yeah, I was just talking to Nashville artist and looper specialist Carl Walkner, who's my hero, and I want to be just like him when I grow up. He's 37. But he is a Nashville hardcore dude, and he's like, if there is no end to the venues that you can play as many venues as you want. If you suck, the city will let you know. And
that is true.
You will not get any more gigs.
That is very true.
And I love that kind of, in a weird way. I love that. You know what I mean? It's
true.
Controlled by the fans, which is great.
Yeah. It's a fact. And I like that too. It's kind of comforting in that, you know, as long as you're getting gigs.
You're
doing all right.
Like we can talk about these like TikTok artists all day long. If it all comes down to live show, I'm telling you, show. How good are you live? Like that's.
Oh, how much time do you have after this? Because I can tell you another story, but I can't tell it on the air.
Okay.
I really can't tell it on the air.
Let's wrap this up then.
All right.
So we're gonna be out. This episode will be out in mid-April probably. So is there anything you want to promote hardcore or?
I mean, everything is just on ethanandjoey.com. Look out for the album for Jada Klink. Don't have a date on that yet. Still writing and still making things.
So that's her record with you guys as the band and producing?
Yeah, we are her band. Oh, okay. So it'll be a Jada Klink project. We don't know what she wants to call it yet, but it's not going to be like Jada Klink and the Collective or Jada Klink and Ethan and Joey. It's probably just going to be like Jada Klink. Which is fine. I don't care.
Cool. Yeah,
totally. We're writing it. We're being a part of it. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun. That's a whole different thing to navigate. But
awesome.
That is something you would look out for. And then just look out for any Ethan and Joey show. It's all at ethanandjoey.com and Facebook and Instagram, Ethan and Joey. Yeah. There are things that we're doing in the summer. There's things that we're doing just all over.
Go see shows, man. Go support live music.
Just get out. See Charlie John.
More often than not, like I don't do many ticketed shows these days. But more often than not, it's free or $5 or whatever. Like, go
just walk around and find us.
Yeah,
just wander.
Go to our way. Just wander around until you hear music. You see open doors.
Go to the weddings that we're playing.
Go to the weddings.
Go to someone else's wedding.
Invite yourself to weddings that you weren't.
Just be there. Don't wear white and don't talk about yourself.
And be like, I'm here to see Charlie John. That's fine.
I just want to see Charlie John at this wedding. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm just a big fan. I'm just a really big fan. Hey, before you end the podcast,
yeah, for sure,
Charlie. Why do seals like swimming in salt water? Because pepper water makes them sneeze.
I don't know what just happened. Why?
I can give you more.
Was that the joke of the day?
No, I got way more. My brother and I have been getting into jokes a lot.
That's funny.
And they're stupid. A lot of them are really inappropriate.
Yeah. We will.
And for that, you got to go to a Charlie John show or an Ethan and Joey show.
Yeah, man. Oh, see, that's the stuff you bring out during the. Oh man, I love that. You bring it out during.
I'll tell you some when we're done.
EthanandJoey.com. You find everything there. Thank you for doing this. We got to have you back on, obviously, because again, we had hours and hours to keep talking. But thanks again, man. I appreciate it. And
I appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate everybody listening. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody.
Same here.
I did my best.
Same here, but you know who you are.
Yeah,
I think we're both okay, but yeah.
Yeah, we're all right.
All right. Peace out, man.
Thanks for listening to Mad Sound Radio.